and you can speak to the journey and you can share that information with your brothers and sisters. You're not built for that life. I'm just telling you. You're not built for it. I'm not saying you're a bad person. I'm saying stop playing the game like you're built for that thing. If you aren't willing for those times when you gotta. At these brothers, I'm 100% convinced that if you aren't whooping life's ass, you simply don't want to play the game, bro. You simply don't really want to play this thing. With all the information available, with all the circles put in place of brothers that are sharpening iron, that are talking knowledge, with the World Wide Web, with all the books we have available, if you aren't dominating in life, if you can't sit with your brother and say, hey, you know what? Over the last 12 months, this is what I went through. This is what I overcame. This was my challenge, and this is how I dominated. This is what I've been doing over the last decade. If you can't look back in life and say, you know what, over the last 5, 6 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years, if you can't see a journey, in other words, if you're still sitting in the same place as you were 20 years ago, you simply don't want to play the game, brothers. You don't want to play it. You would much rather go to the circuit cities of the world and watch the game being played on demo, and then go tell everybody else about what you saw. You don't want to speak to your journey. You don't want to walk that path, though, because to move forward is so rudimentary, man. And of course, I'm coming off of a high of having a phenomenal power circle call last night. First off, let me give a shout out, man, to all the amazing brothers outside of the power circle that joined in last night for the open house to fellowship with us, man. It was a great call. It was good to have some fresh faces in there with some different opinions and it was a beautiful thing, man. And the conversation we had last night, you know, we didn't go very deep. We didn't get too esoteric. We just talked about the nuts and bolts, the binary portions of moving forward, man. And it was a good conversation for everybody in the call to have. It's kind of just like a refresher for some and some new intel for some other people. But it was a good call for everybody. But coming off that call, man, and as I'm uploading the replay, I'm understanding, man, that if a man doesn't want, if he isn't moving, he just doesn't want to play. You know, there aren't enough challenges that keeps a man from moving forward, man. And I understand this. I understand that when it comes to a man accomplishing or achieving success, I understand that a lot of times some things that we're associated with can put blocks on us, right? And what I mean by that, let me just say what I'm saying. I understand that a lot of times when we're inserted into religion, and I'm not knocking it, I think that's a beautiful thing if that's what you choose. I understand that if we insert ourselves into religion so deep sometimes, religion will make it more of a challenge for us to succeed. In other words, sometimes religion will say, hey, you know what? If you want to win, you got to pray in this direction. You got to put this much in the collection plate every week. You got to come down to the altar. You got to hop on one leg and bark like a dog and turn flips when the sun sets in the, you know, all this stuff, man. And it's like all the bells and whistles sometimes confuse us and say, you know what, man, I want to be just a good sound, solid man. I want to succeed, but I can't check all these boxes. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we're sitting there trying to check boxes of being the good guy and be the righteous man and can follow all the rules of the religion, that we can't just strap it on and go forward and accomplish things. You know what I'm saying? When you look at the end of the road of what success like, whatever that finish line is, whether it's putting a man on the moon, which is not a real thing, or building, you know, whether you're an Elon Musk or whether you're just some guy that completed some small mission, the rules are the same. Meaning the processes are the same. The laws that govern your success are the same. Everybody's doing the exact same thing. Everybody's following a certain recipe. You know what I'm saying? And all the other bells and whistles are beautiful, but it has nothing to do with you going forward. You know what I'm saying? So I'm understanding this. I'm understanding, and some of this came from the conversation we had last night, but what I'm understanding now, just from mainly having conversations with a number of men for a number of years now, coming up on 8-9 years, maybe close to a decade of having conversations with men. I'm understanding a lot of things, right? And some of this we spoke about last night. And I may post some clips from last night, man. I may post some clips from that throughout the week, man. But I'm gonna say this: as far as what's keeping men from moving forward, and I'm not gonna go heavy into it. I'll say the first thing is vision, right? And I don't want to spend but 5 seconds on that. Like a lot of guys think that they have vision and they're moving in a certain thing, but they're not. And you got to understand, if you don't have vision and moving in a certain way, there are certain things that you can't accomplish. It doesn't matter what you do. Like even when the Bible says, a man without vision shall perish. A man without vision shall have no forward movement. A man without vision shall not even taste success. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of part of it is vision and everything that comes with vision. I may post some clips throughout the week on the conversation from last night. But I'm gonna say this. This is really what I want to talk about. I understand now that a lot of men aren't willing to accept the ebbs and flows of success. Like most men are just so used to getting online and seeing somebody, speak about a win, or watching some YouTube video where somebody's talking about, hey, well now I got 20,000 Lamborghinis and and they're like, oh, success means life on a high hog. But they don't want to accept the fact that, hey, you know what? Yeah, there's going to be so many highs, but there has to be lows for me to get there. Like if you think you can go from A to B or A to Z and it's all throughout the land of milk and honey, man, you have a whole nother thing coming. You know what I'm saying? You have a whole nother. And that's why I'm always saying, I say, you know what, when a man says, okay, you know what, this is where I'm going, this is what I'm about to accomplish, a man has to be so definite before he takes one step on that path. Because he has to understand there's going to be fire and brimstone coming down before he gets to that finish line. And if he's not ready for that, man, he's not going to make it. He's not going to make it. And I can speak to myself. There have been some journeys in life that I've started, and I wasn't really about that life. And I took that L, I came back, I rebuilt, or I took that information and applied it to something else. But you have to be about that life. You know what I'm saying? When you say, hey, this is what I'm about to accomplish, you have to be so definite. You have to be so obsessed with it. You have to be so tunnel vision. You have to be so singular truthified that it's all you know, that failure is not an option, that even if it takes you going to the bottom and staying there for a year, then you're going to sleep there on the bottom until it's time for you to come back to the top. You're going to stay at the bottom until you get the nuggets, until you get the knowledge of what it takes to create the avatar to get you out of there. If you ain't willing to do that, man, then you're not about that life. Then stay like everybody else. But if you are about that life, then do what Jim Rohn said. Walk away from the 97%. Walk away from the 97%. Don't talk like them. Don't walk like them. Don't go to the places they go. Don't be at the same clubs they go to. If that's not what you want, don't do what they do. Pave your own path. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be willing to go through the ebbs and flows, man. You have to be, I'll say this, like a part of you has to be, like I'll say, I know this for a fact. An element of you has to be a lone wolf mentality. And let me say it like this first, because I believe in teamwork. I believe in brotherhood. But you have to have that element of a lone wolf inside of you to travel this path, to even move forward to the next level. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is you have to understand, is it downloading or not, brother? All right. You have to understand Like, and again, I'm talking about the ebbs and flows. You have to understand that when you're moving forward, I don't care what your financial level is. I don't care if you're flipping burgers and you're minimum wage, and man, you're trying to make it work, or I don't care if you got M's in the bank. There are going to be times when you're moving forward, you're going to have to say, you know what? I'm counting pennies, bro. Like I'm putting so much into my craft. I'm putting so much into what I believe. I'm putting so much into going forward that I don't have money to be just throwing out and doing all these things and taking trips and buying Gucci's. And, you know what I'm saying? You're like, you know what? I got to be so locked in. I got to make sure every penny goes toward where it needs to go to. You gotta be a man that even has money in the bank and says, you know what? This week we eating all ramen noodles, or we eating all camel noodle soup. We eating all dollar menu, and that ain't the best thing. But y'all get what I'm saying? Y'all gotta say, hey, this week, man, we not going to whatever these fancy places are for lunch. And I'm talking about just you. I ain't talking about dating. I'm talking about just you going out spending money frivolously. You know, you got to say, hey, you know what? It's all about this craft. It's all about me putting money toward this thing. It's all about me building this project. I got to cut back on everything. I'm not spending. I'm not going out. I'm not clubbing. I'm not doing any of that stuff, man. If you aren't and this is bare minimum, if you aren't willing to walk in that energy, nah, bro, just put life in cruise control and live the next 100 years in your same state. Because you're not built for that other thing. You're not trying to move forward. You're not trying to look back every year, every 3 years, every 5 years and say, yep, I see where I was. And you can speak to the journey and you can share that information with your brothers and sisters. You're not built for that life. I'm just telling you. You're not built for it. I'm not saying you're a bad person. I'm saying stop playing the game like you're built for that thing. If you aren't willing for those times when you gotta, you know what I'm saying? If you aren't willing to go periods of time, man, and I'm speaking from a single guy. If you're not a man that's a single bachelor and you're not willing to say, hey, you know what? For these 90 days, for these 6 months, for the entire year of 2026, I'm not dating. I'm not dating. I'm not flinging. I'm not hooking up. I'm not dating website. I'm not doing none of that stuff. Because that's bandwidth that's required for me to move forward. If you can't say that, don't even pick a number. Don't even wait in line on the train to move forward. And I'm gonna tell you this: a lot of men are right there. A lot of men are in that space where they say, hey, you know what, man? Yeah, I understand. A lot of men are saying this. Listen to what I'm saying. A lot of men understand that, hey, you know what? If I want to move forward, I see exactly what I need to do. I see exactly who I need to become. I see exactly the amount of hours I got to put in to do X, Y, Z, and da. I see the plan. But you know what? The energy required to get there, like I got to pull energy from somewhere else. Like I got to get some bandwidth from somewhere. And I see this women category that's taking about 30% of my bandwidth. Am I willing to take all 30 of that and put it on me moving forward? And a lot of men say, I can't do it. They won't say they can't do it, but they won't do it. They won't do it. And at the same time, and this is another conversation, what they don't understand is that element within themselves that make them attractive to women is that element of being able to pull that 30 back and put it on their goals. When you move like that, you'll never have to worry about women. I don't care what your bank account level is. I don't care if you ain't got an 8-pack. I don't care if you ain't driving a Maserati. If you're moving like, hey, you know what? The far majority of my energy is going towards me moving forward. That man doesn't have to ever worry about attracting women in his life. In his life. You know what I'm saying? Some guys, every Saturday night, they got to be at some clubs, watching something shake. They got to be doing X, Y, Z. It's like, hey, man, get it how you live. I'm not saying what a man should do and shouldn't do, but I can tell you this and guarantee it. If you take some of that energy and put it towards yourself, put it towards your craft, put it toward the direction you're going, the return on investment, man, is not even remotely close. Not even remotely close. But most men can't do that. Most men can't, I won't say most, a lot of men can't take a season or 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 of not being him. You know what I'm saying? You come out of being, you're a young man and maybe early in your career, you was dominating corporate America. You got the Benz and now you got the big crib and you got all these things and and life is good and there's harmony for 10 years. But at some point you say, hey, you know what? Life is good. I can set my anchor right here. Or you say, you know what? I see that mountain 20 clicks away. I can go and conquer that mountain and move it out the way and get to the other side of it. But you will say, you know what? For me to get there, I'm going to have to forfeit the identity that I have now. I'm going to have to forfeit my I am to become somebody else. And in the period of me becoming that somebody else, I'm going to be off the scene. I'm not going to have the shiny things on me. People aren't going to be saying my name. And they can't release that frequency of attention. Let's call it what it is. You can't release that frequency of attention to leave this mountain that you just conquered to go to the next. Because you got to go through that valley and nobody can see you in that valley. And you want to stay on top where you're seen. If that's you, you're not about this life, bro. If you're not willing to wear gosh, bagosh and black tees for a season, which y'all know I love black tees. I wear black tees in all seasons. If you aren't willing to rock the British Knights, the troops, the gangster Knights, and black tees and white beaters, if you aren't willing to spend a season or 10 doing that, you're not about this life, man. Because moving forward, again, ebbs and flows. Moving forward, of course, a lot of it is on the mountaintop, but a whole lot of it is in the valley. You know what I'm saying? A whole lot of it is in the valley. And a lot of men run from that valley. But the valley is where the gold is. The valley is where the knowledge is. The valley is where the journey is, man. Because when you get to the other side, when you get to that mountain and you're rubbing elbows with new brothers, or when you're rubbing elbows with your same circle of men that are all going toward their own mountains, then when y'all all get over there, you want to be able to share your story. You want your story to be all highlights. Oh yeah, man, I hit this stock and everything was going right. I never saw anything darkness. Or do you want to be to say, hey, you know what, man, life was good, but let me tell you about that valley, bro. Let me give y'all some nuggets, man. So the next time when you're going through this thing and you see this thing, you ain't got to go through that. You know what I'm saying? It comes down, man. It comes down to, and I would like to say, I was almost about to say that it comes down to a man being built a certain way. But I don't really believe that. Because I believe everybody is built a certain way, but everybody can evolve to some other. What it comes down to is this. It comes down to a man having the gonads. It comes down to a man having the gonads to say, you know what? I'm looking around and I see all these brothers, man, moving forward. And I see what they're doing. Like they're giving me the recipe. I know exactly what it takes to move forward. But what a lot of guys are saying is, I'm more comfortable here. I'm more comfortable sitting right here. Oh, you looking for me? Oh, in 5 years, now don't put out a search party. I'll be right here where I'm standing right now. 10 years from now, I'll be right here where I'm standing. I'll have no stories to share with you. I'll have no stories of how I overcame struggle. And how I got it out the mud, how I stood on 10 toes. I'll have none of that. You know what I'm saying? I'll have none of those stories to share with my brothers so we can all learn. I'll be sitting right here. Man. So again, a lot of it, man, is simply a lot of men aren't willing to accept the highs and lows of success. It's as simple as that, man.